Think majority rules in elections? Think again. In Delaware, some winners take office without the support of over 75% of voters. It's a flaw in our system that raises some big questions about democracy. But there's a simple fix: ranked choice voting. Hi, I'm Jason Hoover, and today we're talking about ranked choice voting, or RCV for short. If you've heard about ranked choice voting, but you're not exactly sure how it works or why we should use it, then this video is for you. RCV has gained popularity across the United States. It's been billed as a more equitable form of voting, and it prevents a number of common problems we see in our winner-take-all elections, also called plurality or first past the post. It solves problems such as vote splitting, wasted votes, and low voter turnout. But how can one ballot change all of this? Well, we'll get into that. In order to understand how it works, first we got to talk about runoff elections. Maybe you've heard of runoff elections before but don't know how they work. They're used in a few states including Georgia, Mississippi, and South Dakota. Runoff elections have one simple rule that differs from traditional plurality elections, and that's that they require a majority winner. You might be thinking, wait a minute, don't we already require a majority? Surprisingly, no. Many elections are won without a majority winner. For example, if 4 people run a race, they all might get about 25% of the vote. The person who wins will have more support than anyone else, but they'll likely not achieve the support of the majority. Now back to runoffs. There's a few different types of runoffs, but the one I want to talk to you about is called an exhaustive ballot runoff. Here's how it works. You hold an election, and if there's no majority winner, meaning no single candidate gets more than 50% support, the least popular candidate is eliminated and a whole new election is held. People go back to the polls, they vote again, and hopefully this time you get a majority winner. This process repeats until a majority winner emerges. This simple change ensures that the majority supports the winner every time. Sounds great, right? Well, sort of. The problem with runoff elections is that it requires people to go to the polls over and over again, sometimes 2 or even 3 times. This is a big waste of people's time, and not to mention it's expensive. It's hard enough to get people to turn out for primaries once, let alone multiple times. And if you do this for both the primaries and the general elections, it gets ridiculous real fast. The solution to that is, you guessed it, ranked choice voting, or RCV. It's also called instant runoff voting, or IRV. What's great about RCV is you can hold an entire runoff election with just one ballot. The way I like to think about it is to say, this candidate is my first choice. If they get eliminated, or if they're not on the next ballot, I want to pick this person instead. If they get eliminated, I want to pick this person instead, and so on. That way you're only required to show up and vote once, but we can still hold multiple elections and end up with a majority winner. This solves the problems we see too often in primaries where the winner emerges without a majority. This is not terribly uncommon in Delaware. An election for Wilmington mayor was won with only 24% of the votes. In other words, 76% of voters did not vote for the winner. The system is clearly flawed. An RCV ballot also means you can vote for someone who you may feel is unpopular without having to waste your vote. Because if your first pick is indeed unpopular, they'll get eliminated and your vote will then be reallocated to your next available pick. Being able to voice your preference for a less popular candidate without risking your voice entirely makes people feel more heard and less disenfranchised. And it is even shown to increase voter turnout. RCV is a mathematically sound, efficient, and simple way to elect leaders who are supported by the most people. Now, RCV isn't the perfect solution, but then again, no perfect solution exists. RCV is part of a family of many alternative forms of voting that far outperform our current plurality voting. Each improved solution has a different drawback, but all of them share in common that they are much better solutions than the antiquated system we currently use. I support RCV over other options because it's the most widely adopted alternative form of voting and the easiest to model based on what other states are doing. RCV is becoming widely adopted in the United States. It's used by about 25 states in some capacity, some for local elections, some for city elections, and in a few cases used statewide. Let's upgrade Delaware's voting system to be more representative. It's easy, simple, and smart. If you're ready for RCV, tell us in the comments below.